game called Hilt Arena. So this game actually started off as a turn-based strategy game, and I actually have a screenshot of that here. So neither of us were artists. This is the best we could do. And we started to make the turn-based strategy game, and it was bad. So it ended up transitioning. We challenged ourselves at one point to make as simple of a fighter as we could for a mobile device. And so in doing so, we took inspiration from Super Smash Bros. So we only had two primary buttons, a basic attack and a special ability. And we got rid of jumping altogether, so you only move in one dimension. And we just ran with that. And it turned out to be really fun. And so I'm going to demo what we have today. So this version is actually available on the Android App Store and iOS. It's a beta, so there's about a quarter of the total content that we want to have in the final release, which is coming up. And it has a dev mode that gives you infinite gold, so you can unlock everything and try out all the abilities. Okay, so this is the world select. So in the beta, we only have 2 worlds, and all of this is going to be replaced with a overworld map to give it more of a sense of progression as you play through the game, so it feels like you're on a journey. So we have the Westlands and we have Bandits Bay. So we'll start off at the first area of Westlands, the Fighter's Pit. And this takes you to your fighter select. In this version, we have your 4 standard fantasy tropes, the Knight, the Rogue, the Warrior, and the Wizard. And so I'll start off with the Knight. Then you get to select and upgrade your weapons and equipment. So the Enchanted Shield, I think, is my favorite for the Knight. Since I'm in dev mode, I will upgrade that all the way to the Aegis. So every upgrade you get gives you new abilities to use, as well as making the weapons stronger. And just for fun, let's get some fully upgraded medium armor. Okay, and then you get taken to the stage select, and we'll go right into it. So every character has left and right movement, and they can run. They have a dodge, which is pretty critical considering you can't jump and you're locked into this one dimension of movement. There's a basic attack, so the Knight has a 2-hit slash and a stab. And then his special ability, which is granted by the upgraded shield that I have, is a bull charge. And there's a variety of enemies. That guy has a shovel. There's ones with spears and pitchforks that you have to evade, dodge behind, and attack. And there's basic characters that stab. Every level gives you a diamond rating between 1 and 3 based on your timing and how much health you have at the end. And you're rewarded a amount of gold based on that. Okay, so show off a little bit more. We'll move on to Bandits Bay and the Red Raider. So this level is interesting because this is where we introduce hazards into the stages. So it has cannons that when you walk in front of them, they will blast you with cannonballs. And for this one, I'll use the Rogue and her Thief's Blade, fully upgraded, of course. This gives you a really cool ability. So it gives you 2, actually. First one is if you dodge an enemy's attack, it will disorient them and give you time to backstab. And the Rogue deals extra damage when she hits an enemy from behind. The other ability, which I'm going to try to pull off, is a little bit harder. If you manage to destroy an enemy with a backstab, she will teleport to the next nearest enemy. Oh, I messed that up. And she will continue to teleport until you fail to defeat an enemy with it. And then we see a couple of other interesting enemies here, with the pirate captain that grabs you with this hook, and the bomber, which I defeated, that throws pairs of bombs. Okay, and then for the last stage that I'll show off for this presentation, we have the Giant's Den. So the last area in any world of the game is a boss battle. And so this is the first boss battle of the game. Use the warrior for this one. And I'll get him some heavy armor. Very Skyrim inspired. bit of atmosphere in the Giant's Den. And here he is, the Giant himself. So the boss battles are interesting because unlike regular enemies that you could just attack and defeat, the bosses require a little bit of strategy. So if I try to attack him outright, it deals no damage. The trick for him is to defeat his minions first, at which point you'll go into a rage, hit a wall, and become vulnerable for a few seconds, where you can wail away at him until he eventually dies. Yeah, so I'm going to close out of this because I'm actually terrible at my own game, and I guarantee you I will lose. It's very difficult. In fact, in later levels, we've had beta testers try it out. And one of the comments that was made that I thought was some of the highest praise I could get was that later levels becomes a necessity to have a perfectly choreographed fight. And it's really satisfying when you finally pull it off to get that 3-star rating. And anyway, so this is Hilt Arena. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. And if you are interested, feel free to follow at Silent Man Games on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we will also be attending the Halloween Play Expo next week. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Zach. All right, time for 2 questions. Yep, right there, shout it out.
How are the ratings calculated? Like, how does it keep track of that?
So it's based on the time it takes you to beat the level in combination with how much health you have at the end of the level. And so it's something that we work on. We have a few beta testers who are very good at the game that basically dictate what the 3-star rating is. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
For how long?
So the game in its current form has been about 2 years in production. The original was about another year before that, the turn-based strategy game. So it's sort of just evolved over the past 3 years into its current state. Thanks.
Cool. All right, thank you. Hilt Arena, everybody. Check it out after the final presentations.